So I woke up this morning, checked my bank account, and my paycheck has taken a little vacation without me. Government shutdown, y'all. 10 out of 10. I would not recommend. But as I was sitting there, coffee in hand, staring at my fabric stash like it was the stock market, I thought, all right, Becca, maybe it's time to get creative about being creative because the thread drawer might be full, but the checking account sure isn't. And I know I'm not the only one feeling that right now. Hey friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name's Becca, and today we're talking about how to keep quilting when your budget feels tighter than a fat quarter bundle wrapped in shrink wrap. If you've been wondering, can I still quilt right now? The answer is yes. Absolutely yes. I'm going to show you how to keep making, keep creating, and keep finding joy, even when you're cutting back on spending. We'll talk stash diving, scrappy projects, upcycling, and community swaps. I'll even share a few of my own stories along the way, because quilting isn't just a hobby, it's therapy, it's joy, and sometimes it's the cheapest form of sanity that I can find. Tip number 1, shop your stash. Years ago, I had this light bulb moment where I realized something big. All that fabric that looked beautiful sitting on my shelf looked even better in a finished quilt. Like, way better. I used to be so protective of my fabric that I tell myself, no, that bundle's way too pretty to cut into. I'll save it for something special. But the truth is, fabric doesn't live its best life folded. It shines when it's part of something loved, something used, and something shown off. Over the years, I've really embraced that mindset. My stash still sits right behind me, beautifully organized, colorful, and part of my creative space. And now, instead of hoarding it, I see it as the resource that it was meant to be and a chance to shop intentionally. Don't get me wrong, I still buy fabric, but I don't buy it like I used to. I buy with purpose, I buy with a plan, and I use what I have first because I firmly believe that fabric that looks pretty on a shelf will always look even better in a finished project. You don't need a reason to use it. You are the reason and you are the special occasion. Tip number 2, scrappy and small wins. Let me tell you about one of my favorite personal challenges. I had this leftover amount of scraps from a block of the month kit that I did with Fat Quarter Shop. All of these little bits and pieces of fabric that most people probably just would have tossed into a scrap bin or even the trash, I thought I wanted to challenge myself with. I wanted to see what I could make using that fabric alone. So I cut all of that fabric into a bunch of 1.5-inch squares, 3,024 pieces. Later, I had a finished postage-stamp quilt that was made entirely from those leftovers. My sister ended up with the main block of the month quilt, and I kept the after quilt that was made from scraps. I love it just as much, maybe even more, because it turned something small and overlooked into something beautiful. That project taught me that creativity doesn't have to come from buying something new. Sometimes it's about honoring what you already have. Scraps are memories in miniature. They're proof that quilting doesn't have to cost a thing to bring you joy. Tip number 3, free quilt-alongs and block of the months. If there's one universal truth about quilters, it's that we love a free pattern, and I'm absolutely no exception. If there's something I tend to hoard in my sewing room, it's definitely patterns. Free, purchased, printed, digital, you name it. There are so many amazing free projects out there that help you stay creative and connected without spending money. I mean, even my 2025 quilt along is completely free to join in, and I'll link it down below if you want to sew along. The beauty of free quilt-alongs and block of the months is that you get community, you get structure, and you get that little push to keep sewing without any of the financial pressure. You don't need the official bundle or the newest fabric line, just your stash and a willingness to join in. It's also about being part of something bigger, creating together and cheering each other on, and finishing projects with friends. Quilting was never meant to be a solo sport, and the price of admission doesn't have to be everything that's in your wallet. Tip number 4, upcycle and reuse. I'll be honest, I haven't done a ton of true upcycling yet. I haven't made a t-shirt quilt because honestly, the idea just intimidates me. It's definitely on my someday list though. But when I sit back and I think about the history of quilting, that's exactly what our ancestors did. They didn't have aisles of designer fabric or online pre orders. They took what they had: old shirts, worn out dresses, and leftover flour sacks and turned them into something beautiful and functional. I've seen so many people in our community doing incredible things with upcycled materials, and it always inspires me. And hey, even if you're not quite ready to cut up your wardrobe, there are still ways to quilt more resourcefully. Thrift stores, estate sales, and fabric destash groups are gold mines for pre-loved fabric. Sure, you'll spend a little money, but it'll be a fraction of what you'd pay for the newest fabric lines. And sometimes those older prints have way more character and definitely more story. I might not have made a memory quilt yet, but I had definitely have reused notions and repurposed supplies and breathed life into scraps. And honestly, when you turn the leftovers into something new, that is upcycling. It's all part of the quilting tradition, making the most of what we have, celebrating creativity over perfection, and proving that beautiful quilts don't have to start with brand new fabric. Tip number 5, trade and borrow. One of the best parts about being a quilter is the community. Quilters are some of the most generous people I have ever met. And I've been lucky to experience that firsthand. I've traded fabric for notions, kits for quilting services. It's like our own little barter system, but it's built entirely on trust and kindness. I think that's what makes this community so special. We lift each other up. And I am especially grateful for that now as I continue to work on my It Takes a Village English paper piecing quilt. It is made entirely of hexes that were donated from quilters all over the globe. Every single piece of fabric represents a person who took the time to contribute something to my project. And that's the heart of this craft. Whether you're swapping scraps or loaning tools, quilting is proof that generosity is stitched into every seam of this community. So, if you're in a season like me where money's tight or your paycheck has decided to take a little sabbatical before returning to you, you can still quilt. You can still create. You can still find joy and still make something beautiful out of what you already have. Because quilting has always been about resourcefulness, from feed sacks to fabric swaps, from scraps to community projects. We've been making beauty out of limitation since the beginning. Drop a comment if this resonated with you, or share your own budget-friendly quilting hacks. And let's cheer each other on and prove that even when times are tough, creativity doesn't have to be. You're not alone. And remember, the fabric might run out, but the ideas never do. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!